Thank God for the FCC, a sentence I never thought I would say in a video. Today we're doing our monthly Quest 3 news update, and I wasn't sure I would have anything to talk about this month. Then Quest 3 got FCC approval, which revealed a few things, and Meta CTO Andrew Bosworth, as he usually does, said something interesting in his Instagram Ask Me Anything. Later in this video, I'll go over that and give my reaction. Lastly, I solicited questions from the community a few weeks ago and unfortunately didn't get enough for a full video, so I'll answer the ones I did get in this video. Now let's get to it. Like I said, the Quest 3 has been approved by the FCC, which basically means it's been cleared for manufacturing and distribution here in the United States. From the FCC filings, we did get a few nuggets of info. First, Quest 3 will support Wi-Fi 6E. If you play any native Quest multiplayer or live service games, or you do wireless PCVR gaming, this should improve your experience dramatically by reducing your latency. There's a caveat to this, as you will need a router capable of Wi-Fi 6E, and due to how that frequency works, that router will also need to be very close, ideally in the same room as your PC and your Quest. Having said that, it will give you the fastest possible connection speed both internally if you're interfacing with your computer or externally for multiplayer. PCVR fans who swear by wired gameplay have two beasts with wireless: the compression artifacts that come from wireless streaming and the latency, which some people are sensitive to and can trigger motion sickness. 6E won't help a great deal with compression, as even at that connection speed won't match a wired DisplayPort input. However, the latency should be much improved. If you've ever been playing a game and you notice the difference between when you physically move your hand and when the game moves your hands, that's latency. This could be a motion sickness trigger because your brain knows that you moved your hand but your eyes don't perceive it yet. A faster connection between your PC and headset will help that a great deal. For those who do not have a router capable of Wi-Fi 6E, Quest 3 will still continue to support 2.4 and 5 GHz signals. The next piece is about the controllers, which were also approved by the FCC. Here we learned the controllers will still be powered by a single AA battery. For me personally, this is great news. A single battery will last my Quest 2 and Rift S controllers for weeks at a time, so it's a nice money saver. The controllers will also still connect to the Quest via 2.4 GHz signal. This is nothing new, Quest 2 functions the same way. But it is a reminder for anyone that is having tracking issues to take a look at how many wireless devices are in the room with you on a 2.4 GHz signal. It's rare, but you can get tracking interference. If you've ever done a VR demo at a major conference with dozens if not hundreds of other devices using the same Wi-Fi, you know what I mean. Going back to battery charge, the FCC also approved a charging dock for the Quest 3. Now, Meta hasn't officially announced this accessory yet as I record this video, but if you look at the bottom of the Quest 3, you can see the connection point for a charging dock pretty clearly. Meta currently sells a Quest 2 charging dock made by Anker for $80 on the store, and there are several third-party options available. The Anker dock, as do most of the third-party choices, come with rechargeable batteries and a special battery cover that works with the dock. I'll keep an eye out for this announcement. I will be doing accessory reviews after Quest 3 launches, so expect a video for that dock as soon as I get my hands on one and test it. Now, before we get to some comments from Meta directly, this video is sponsored by the Live Open Mic store. Unlike a lot of creators, we didn't just slap my logo on a bunch of products. We currently have 8 different shirt designs for any VR fan, plus the ultimate shirt for every boomer gamer out there. From now through the end of 2023, use promo code MIKE, M-I-K-E, for 10% off your order and to help support this channel. Now let's move away from the FCC to Meta Chief Technical Officer Andrew Bosworth. Boz doesn't ask me anything on his personal Instagram account every month. On the previous AMA, he clarified that the field of view for Quest 3 will be similar to Quest 2. This was a letdown, so he indirectly addressed it again this month.
You really hit on one of the central trade-offs of virtual reality here, which is that if you increase the resolution, you increase the compute and thermal power quadratically. Likewise, if you increase the field of view, you do the same thing. Now, field of view has some really pernicious trade-offs, which is that as you increase the field of view, not only do you increase the amount of surface area you have to render quadratically, which is expensive to CPU, to thermals, to everything else, also the majority of that energy goes into the pixels that are the least valuable for your experience. So it's a really tough trade-off. Whereas at least with raw resolution, at least some of that is going into the most valuable kind of foveated pixels. This is to say nothing of the trade-offs that then get introduced on cost, on weight, on the optical system and the design of the lenses. So there's a tremendous amount here, and color depth and dynamic range and these things. So it's a super tight trade space, and that's what we try to balance every single generation, and you can't have it all.
So to summarize, he basically said Meta had to weigh the cost benefit of increasing pixels versus the additional drain on the headset's resources and how the lenses are designed. I took this to mean at one point they did look at increasing FOV, but decided it was better to increase Quest 3's native resolution and put a greater emphasis on mixed reality, as a depth sensor and 2 full color cameras on either side of the headset take more resources to run than what's on the Quest 2. He also said, and I found this interesting, that they didn't see as much value in rendering more pixels in an increased field of view when most of those pixels would not be what the player is directly looking at. If you're increasing field of view, what you're increasing is what the player sees at the top, bottom, left, and right of their screen, and they're not moving their eyes to those outer areas very often. Whether you agree with the reasoning or not, it's an interesting insight to the thought process as Meta went through probably multiple prototypes and versions of the Quest 3 before settling on what we're getting here in a couple of months. Let me know how you feel about Boz's answer down in the comments. Lastly, as I said earlier, I want to answer the handful of questions submitted by the community in a recent post. One person asked for a little more information about me specifically. As I record this video, I'm 42 years old, I currently live outside Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a community manager for VR developer 3 Pound Games. If you've been watching a lot of my videos, you see me sprinkling some footage of our current game, Space Dragon. I got into VR first around 2018 at entertainment complexes with those VR experiences with my kids, stuff like boxing and roller coasters. Then I started taking my then teenage daughter to arcades and we would kill a bunch of zombies in Arizona Sunshine and kill each other in Solaris Off-World Combat. These were usually on Vive headsets. Finally I bought a Quest 2 when I turned 40 in 2021 and never looked back. I've been doing content ever since. This next question was deleted by the screenshot. Someone asked around the time that I posted the Quest Lite video if I thought Quest 3 was actually the Quest Lite and the 2024 value-driven Quest Lite headset would actually be more expensive with eye and face tracking. I have a hard time seeing that be the case. Mark Rapkin, Meta's VP of VR, said of this more quote accessible headset, quote, the goal for this headset is very simple. Pack the biggest punch we can at the most attractive price point in the VR consumer market, end quote. That doesn't really vibe with additional tracking and a higher price point than Quest 3. Last question, what will be the main focus of this channel once Quest 3 releases? Great question, I'll start by saying what it will not be. This channel will not feature a bunch of 20-minute videos of random gameplay. Nothing against those channels or those creators, but there are a lot of those and I don't feel like that's going to offer value to you all that you can't get in dozens of other places. I just look at the views in those videos I have already done and clearly that's not what you're all here for. There will be Quest 3 setup guides, advice on things like how to improve your tracking, how to make recorded live content, little known features and tips, beating motion sickness, basically how to get the most out of your headset. I spend at least 20 hours in VR every single week on top of my full-time job, so I'm going to pick up on a lot that I will pass on to you. We'll also be doing reviews of accessories like the dock we talked about earlier and different head straps as my finances allow. I will do game coverage, but it will be games I'm deeply interested in as I don't want to do one and done videos for dozens of games. For instance, I can name 5 games right now I know will get multiple videos unless they turn out to be trash. Asgard's Wrath 2, Glassbreakers Champions of Moss, Demeo Battles, Contractor Showdown, and a PCVR exclusive called The Events at Unity Farm. I would rather do a deep dive on the game I'm really into with boss fight guides, best practices, hidden secrets, and so on than play a game once, bang out a review, and never follow up on it. VR gaming is big enough now that if you're just one person trying to cover everything, you don't cover anything particularly well. I should also mention here that I do live stream VR games, mostly story-based games, 2 days a week on Twitch. So if you want to see some actual gameplay from me, come follow me over there. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to drop a like on it, let me know down in the comments, and subscribe for more VR content. If you would like a list of my top 10 Quest games still coming in 2023, click the video on the screen right now, and as always, thank you for watching.